Knicks versus Nuggets was elite hoops. The Knicks took down the former champs 122-112, and they're looking like a real threat in the East. That's 5 straight wins now, and they've beaten some serious competition along the way. The Nuggets came in struggling on this road trip, but nobody expected them to get picked apart like this. This game was supposed to be about the 2-star big men, Karl Anthony Towns versus Nikola Jokic, but neither one really showed up the way people expected. They both got into foul trouble early, and once that happened, the real battle shifted to the guards. Jalen Brunson and Jamal Murray turned this game into an absolute showdown. And let's just say, Brunson stole the show. 30 points, 15 assists, absolute clinic. Brunson was dissecting Denver's defense all night long, picking them apart like a surgeon. This wasn't just scoring, this was high IQ basketball. He controlled the pace, found his teammates, and kept the Knicks in total command. The Nuggets had no answer for him, and this isn't the first time their defense has been shredded lately. Just look at the numbers. Anthony Edwards dropped 34 and 9 assists. Tyrese Maxey torched them for 28 and 10. Jalen Green went off for 34 and 5 assists. And now Brunson just handed them another lesson. Denver's problem? They're spamming Jokic in the action too much. If your big man is getting pulled into every single pick and roll, these elite guards are going to have a field day. And that's exactly what's happening. Brunson knew it, the Knicks knew it, and they exploited it to perfection. When the Nuggets finally made their late push, New York slammed the door shut with a quick 8-2 run just to remind everyone who was in control. And let's talk about OG. This guy is the real deal. 23 points on 9 of 15 shooting, and his impact went beyond the box score. He was all over the place, cutting, defending, making the right plays. He's exactly what this Knicks team needed. The East is loaded, but with the way New York is playing, there's no reason they couldn't take down a team like Cleveland or even Boston in a playoff series. They've already proven they can beat contenders, and they're only getting better. Josh Hart came through with 15 points, 5 boards, 5 dimes, and 3 steals. Classic Hart performance. Relentless hustle, big-time effort, making the winning plays that don't always show up in the highlights. That's what separates good teams from great ones. Then there's Karl Anthony Towns. He had 14 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists, but it didn't feel like his night. The early foul trouble took him out of rhythm, and he never really got going. But the Knicks didn't need him to dominate. They had balance. Deuce McBride added 12 points and 4 assists. Bridges put up 13, Precious chipped in with 8, and Cam Payne added 7. When a team gets production from so many different guys, it's hard to stop. On the other side, Jamal Murray did everything he could to keep Denver alive. 33 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He was cooking, hitting tough shots, keeping the Nuggets within striking distance. But he just didn't have enough help. Jokic finished with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. But it wasn't the dominant performance people expected. He picked up 2 fouls in the first 90 seconds and had to sit almost the entire first quarter. That completely changed the game. When he came back, he was never really in rhythm. The Knicks attacked him, and he couldn't control the game the way he usually does. And then there's Russell Westbrook. 14 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block. The energy was there, the hustle was there, but the Nuggets needed more scoring. Aaron Gordon had 15 points and 6 rebounds. And Michael Porter Jr., 9 points. That's not going to cut it in a game like this. When the Knicks pushed the tempo, Denver's defense had no answers. And speaking of defense, Denver's has been a disaster lately. They've now given up 133, 129, and now 122 points in 3 straight games. That's a problem. You cannot win in this league giving up that many points, especially on the road. The Knicks, on the other hand, have been locked in. This was their 3rd straight win against a good team, and they're proving they can beat anybody. New York set the tone early with a 15-0 run in the first quarter. They came out aggressive, attacked Jokic, forced him into foul trouble, and never looked back. Denver tried to fight back, but every time they made a run, the Knicks had an answer. The Nuggets got within 4 late in the 4th quarter, but once again, the Knicks responded and put the game away. This game also had some history behind it. 9 years ago, the infamous Nuggets-Knicks brawl at Madison Square Garden happened, and this matchup always has a little extra energy because of it. But tonight, New York wasn't focused on the past. They were focused on proving they belong in the conversation as one of the best teams in the league. And after a performance like this, it's getting harder to deny them. Their offense has been rolling. They just put up 140 points in back-to-back games for the first time since the mid-1960s. Tonight, they weren't quite that explosive, but they still shot nearly 52% from the field. That's winning basketball. And when you combine that with their defense, their depth, and the way Brunson is leading this team, it's easy to see why they're dangerous. Denver's got some real questions to answer. They've now dropped to 0-3 on this road trip, and it's not getting any easier. They've got to figure out their defensive issues fast because teams are exposing them in a big way. Their next stop, Philadelphia. That's not exactly a place you want to be struggling defensively. As for the Knicks, they've got the Lakers coming to town next. Another chance to prove they're for real. And if they keep playing like this, there's no telling how high their ceiling is. This wasn't just another win. This was a statement. The Knicks are here, and they're not backing down from anybody. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. I'll also be posting a full breakdown of what the Knicks specifically have been doing recently tomorrow. Anyways, the Knicks are playing some of the best basketball in franchise history right now. Just look at the numbers. 143 points, 143 points, 122 points. That's not just hot shooting. That's an offensive explosion. In fact, it's the most points ever scored by the Knicks in a 3-game stretch. And if you zoom out to the entire league, no team has scored more points in a 3-game span this season. 408 total points in 3 games. This isn't just an elite scoring run, it's a historic one. The Knicks aren't just lighting it up, they're rewriting the record books. And the engine driving it all? Jalen Brunson. He just dropped one of the most dominant performances of the season, 30 points, 15 assists. Complete control from start to finish. That's only the 8th time all season any player in the league has had a 30-point, 15-assist game. But for the Knicks, it's even rarer. Only 3 other players in franchise history have ever done this. Richie Guerin in the late 1950s, Walt Frazier in the late 1960s, and Nate Robinson in the late 2000s. That's it. 3 names. And now, Brunson adds his name to that exclusive list. But he's not stopping there. If you look at Knicks history, no player has more 30-point, 10-assist games than Brunson. With 11, he's now tied with Richie Guerin for the franchise record. Walt Frazier had 9, Stephon Marbury had 7, Ray Williams had 5. Brunson has already matched the all-time mark, and the way he's playing, it's only a matter of time before he holds that record outright. But as dominant as the offense was, the Knicks' defense on Nikola Jokic might have been even more impressive. They completely took him out of his comfort zone. Jokic thrives when he can control the game inside, using his size, skill, and passing to pick apart defenses. The Knicks didn't let him do that. They forced him to play from the perimeter, cutting off his passing lanes and making him work for everything. Just look at the shot chart. Half of his attempts came from 3, and that's exactly what the Knicks wanted. Jokic is an all-time great, but when you make him play outside of his strengths, you take away the Nuggets' biggest advantage, and the head-to-head numbers back it up. In the 2 games Jokic has faced Brunson and the Knicks this season, he's averaging just 19.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists on 43% shooting. And more importantly, he's a minus 23 in those games. Meanwhile, Brunson, he's averaging 26.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 16 assists on 60% shooting. And he's a plus 35. That's not just a small edge, that's total dominance. And it's no coincidence that the Knicks have beaten Denver both times this season. In both games, Brunson was the best player on the floor. And then there's Draymond Green's tweet, one of the most bizarre takes of the season. Karl Anthony Towns in a full front on Joker. Even if you win the game, it don't matter. You will never hold the respect from an opponent to win at the highest level. Pride must make you sit down and guard, even if you give up 40. Winning is a mindset. And in order to win a championship, the Knicks were in the middle of executing a near-perfect defensive game plan against the reigning MVP. And somehow, Draymond is questioning their approach. The goal isn't to earn respect by playing one-on-one, it's to win. And that's exactly what the Knicks did. But the craziest part, Draymond had a game to play in just 30 minutes. And he was tweeting about this. While he was focused on social media, the Knicks were focused on executing their game plan and walking away with another statement win. One of the biggest takeaways from this stretch is the way Tom Thibodeau is managing rotations. He's always been known for riding his starters hard, sometimes to a fault. But lately, he's finding the right balance. He's getting key players rest when needed, adjusting in real time, and keeping the team fresh. And the scary part? This team isn't even at full strength. Mitchell Robinson, the Knicks' best interior defender, is still out. When he returns, their defense is going to reach another level. They're already one of the best teams in the league, and adding an elite shot blocker and rebounder to the mix is only going to make them tougher to beat. This isn't just a hot streak. This is real. The Knicks are proving they can beat elite teams. They're proving they can dominate on offense. They're proving they can shut down the best players in the league. And with every game, they're making it clear. They're not just a fun story this season, they're a real threat. Meanwhile, Denver has a lot of questions to answer. Their defense has been a disaster, and it's not just against the Knicks. This has been a pattern, and it's not getting any easier for them. The Knicks are playing some of the best basketball in the league right now, and it's no fluke. This team has completely transformed how they play, moving the ball with precision and making every possession count. They've recorded 30 or more assists in 19 games this season, out of just 58 total. To put that in perspective, that is more than they had in the previous 2 seasons combined. And when they reach that magic number, they do not just win, they dominate. They have won 18 of those games and lost just 1. That kind of ball movement is not just a statistical anomaly. It is a sign of a team that knows exactly how to exploit opposing defenses. They are not relying on isolation plays or hero ball. They are playing as a unit, trusting each other, and breaking down defenses with crisp passing and high IQ basketball. This is no longer just a hot streak. This is the mark of a legitimate contender. From top to bottom, the Knicks have bought into a winning philosophy, and the results speak for themselves. Since the 1st of December, they have been one of the most dominant teams in the NBA, a record of 21 wins and 8 losses, a net rating of plus 9.9, ranking 3rd in the league, the 2nd best offense, scoring a ridiculous 121.1 points per 100 possessions, and a defense that ranks in the top 6, holding opponents to only 111.2 points per 100 possessions. That is the kind of balance that championship teams are built on. This roster had potential heading into the season, but what they are doing now, it is even better than anyone could have predicted. They are not just stacking wins, they are making a statement every single night. They are proving that they can play in different styles, adjust on the fly, and handle adversity. No matter the opponent, no matter the situation, the Knicks are stepping up and delivering. Look at tonight's game. They had every reason to let this one slip away. They struggled from the free throw line, which is often the deciding factor in close games. They got out-rebounded, which usually leads to a loss. These are the types of mistakes that can cost teams big time. But the Knicks still controlled the game because they took care of the basketball. Only 5 turnovers as a team. Compare that to the Nuggets, who had 7 turnovers combined just from Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic alone. That is the difference between a good team and a great team. Even on a night when some things were not going their way, the Knicks still got the job done. And when Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns both record a double-double, 7 wins and just 1 loss. That combination is nearly unstoppable. Brunson's ability to run the offense, set up teammates, and score when needed makes him one of the best floor generals in the league. Towns, with his ability to stretch the floor and dominate inside, forces defenses into impossible decisions. Together, they form a duo that is extremely difficult to contain. And tonight was just another example of how well they complement each other. They did not just win, they controlled every aspect of the game from start to finish. Winning all 4 quarters in an NBA game is rare. Most teams have stretches where they lose momentum, allow a run, or struggle for a few minutes. But the Knicks never let up. They were locked in from tip-off to the final buzzer. 33 assists, 6 turnovers. That is the definition of championship-level execution. Teams that play like this, teams that move the ball selflessly, that value possessions, that do not beat themselves. Those are the teams that go deep in the playoffs. And the most exciting part, the Knicks are still improving. This is not their peak. This is just the beginning of something special taking shape in New York. Take a step back and think about where this team is in the standing. The Knicks are now only 1 game behind the Celtics for 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. That is not a coincidence. That is not luck. That is the result of a team playing high-level basketball night in and night out. Boston has been seen as a championship favorite all season long. They have elite talent, playoff experience, and everything a team needs to compete for a title. And yet, the Knicks are right there with them. If this team keeps playing like this, they are not just going to be in the conversation for a top seed. They are going to be in the conversation for a deep playoff run. They are going to be in the conversation for a championship. This is not a team that is barely scraping by. This is not a team that is relying on streaky shooting. This is a team that is built for playoff basketball. They defend at a high level. They move the ball. They take care of possessions. They have multiple stars who can take over when needed. And they have depth, real depth, that allows them to play at a high level for the entire 48 minutes. This is no longer just a good team. This is a contender. The Knicks are for real, and the rest of the league better start paying attention. It has been a long time since New York had a team like this. A team that plays with confidence, with discipline, and with purpose. A team that does not back down from anyone. A team that is not just winning games, but making a statement every single time they step on the court. For years, Knicks fans have been waiting for a squad that could truly compete at the highest level. They've seen glimpses of promise, but nothing that lasted. This time, it feels different. Everything about this team screams playoff basketball. They play hard, they play smart, they do not make excuses, and they have the kind of chemistry that cannot be faked. Every night, they are proving that they belong among the best teams in the league. And the scariest part, they are still getting better. The Knicks have the talent, they have the system, they have the mentality, and they have the results to back it up. This is not a temporary hot streak. This is not just a fun regular season run. This is real. New York basketball is back, and the Knicks are coming for a championship. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching,